So before I start this review, something happened while watching Wild Hogs. I didn't expect to happen. About the middle of the movie, I got hit with a funk. I got hit. It hit me. Um, I really started to miss my grandma. I don't know why. In the middle of this movie, I just really started to think of her. I went to the fridge to grab something to drink, and it hit me. I was looking at the TV at the time, and I don't know. I don't know why. The first time I ever watched this was with my grandparents. We used to go over there every other weekend when I was younger, and we used to have, watch a movie together and stuff. And this was one of them. When it came out, we watched it, and it just made me think of my grandma. So because of that, this is for you, Grandma. I dedicate this review to you. And with that in mind, I'm going to not swear in this review. I don't think I'll have to because I like this movie. Nothing made me mad or anything. See, I almost said peed off. I could say peed off. Like, say it like that. Nothing peed me off. That just sounds weird. Nothing made me mad. Ticked me off. I could say tick. Nothing ticked me off. So, yeah, I like this movie. So, Wild Hogs. The plot is four middle-aged men in the heat of their midlife crises go on a road trip from wherever they live to California. I don't think it's New York. I don't think it's that far. But along the way, they incur the wrath of a biker gang called the Del Fuegos, led by Ray Liotta. Rest in peace. And have to deal with them, and all while trying to make it to California. Okay, so it's weird when I started watching this because it's one of those films that you've seen before that has the setup of, oh, it's guys getting older and dealing with middle-aged stuff and not being as young as they used to. But as this movie started going, it made me think that this feels like a sequel. This feels like it would be one of those long-awaited sequels to another movie. Like we should already know who these characters are, and be feeling their struggles now that they're older. Kind of situation, like a Dumb and Dumber 2, or something to that effect, right? You know what I mean? That's what it feels like. It's not though. It's the first movie they were gonna do a sequel. They had a sequel to this, and another movie that was starring Robin Williams that was set to go into production, and then Old Dogs tanked at the box office, so they canned it. Because John Travolta and Robin Williams were in Old Dogs. That tanked. By the way, that's also a good movie. Just saying. That tanked at the box office. It didn't do as well as they thought, so they canceled both of these. Yeah. I always wonder why we never got a sequel to this. Because it's good. I understand that box office is everything, but they also need to look at how good a movie actually is. Because sometimes there are really good movies out there that didn't do very well at the box office, and they said, well, that's not good. And that's not fair to us who are fans of said movie, who deserve a sequel. And what we get is a legacy sequel that never lives up to what we actually wanted. Right? Like Dumb and Dumber 2, or something like that takes a while to get there, and because of that, we're not following the characters we want to follow as kids, which is not what we want to follow. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it gets me. Although I'll say Dumb and Dumber 2 has this going for it. As bad as it is, it follows our characters. It didn't try to say they have kids, although there was a thing of one of them is the father of this kid, but it's not. Which I kind of like the subversion there, but yeah. So we meet our main character. Doug is a dentist. He's played by Tim Allen, and he's in his 50s at this point, I think. He's got everything a middle-aged man would have. You can't eat certain things, and clogged arteries, and all that stuff. And yeah. But he's married to Jill Hennessy, so he's not doing that bad. You have Bobby, played by Martin Lawrence, who is trying to write a novel, but he has the controlling wife stereotype. Yeah, it's like Stu from The Hangover. The wife's in control of everything and domineering. You know, they got a good actress for it, Tichina Arnold, who's always cast as the bitchy black woman in everything. I mean, everyone loves Chris. Martin. Yes, they kind of reunited. Although she wasn't his wife in that. That was Tisha Campbell, but she was like his wife's friend. But yeah, she was still a stereotypical angry black woman. Here too, she's a controlling wife stereotype. You have Dudley, the clumsy one, played by the great one himself, William H. Macy. Yes, we bow down to you, William H. Macy. And then there is Woody, played by Tom Hanks. I'm kidding. Well, that's funny, and it is funny to hear Tim Allen go, Woody, and be talking to John Travolta, who plays it. John Travolta is in a place where he has a supermodel wife, but he's broke, and she's divorcing him. This is going to make him mega broke. So, yeah. So they go, like, every weekend they go on a ride just to go to a bar to drink, have beer or something, whatever. And so Woody, out of his frustration of being, getting divorced and all that, decides that he wants them to go on a road trip from where they are to California. I don't remember where they are. To California. And everyone's hesitant at first and decides to do it, although Bobby tells his wife he's plumbing. See, he's an aspiring writer. He's trying to write a book, but his wife's had enough. He tells him he has to go back to the firm. You think law firm? No, that's the name of a plumbing agency. Right? And we get the first cameo that made me kind of go, oh, it's Escoleto from Nacho Libre. Yeah, this is one of those jokes that goes on too long. There's a few of them. But this is one of them where he just keeps talking about, I didn't want to let him in, but they had to call. And then just kind of just talking about the guy who took a shit. There's another running joke that I think goes too long. And, like, looking through a lens of from now, really wouldn't be put in a movie now, but we'll get to it. So they're starting a road trip, and as they're going, they're camping out. And Tim Allen is too busy talking about stuff. Doug is busy talking about stuff, so he accidentally roasts his marshmallow too much and decides to fling it behind him, burning down the tent that they have. There's also a joke that Bobby's trying to keep blowing up this other tent. I don't know why he's blowing it up. Why do you have a blow up tent? What, you put the things in, right? I have an itch. I need the scissors to scratch. Hold on. Sorry. Oh, that's better. When you can't reach, you gotta find something. Usually it's the tripod. The tripod's being used. Oh, ooh. Wait a minute. That's the right spot. Hold on. Alright. So, that burned down, and none of them tried to blow up the one that Bobby had. They just sort of sleep on the ground together. Dudley not wearing pants. And there's where we get the running gag. John C. McGinley showing up as a state patrol officer who the gag is that he's actually gay and wants to lay with them. Oh, there's not room for a 5, huh? And they're like, it's an uneven number. And they leave. And then there's parts of this is like a vignette, like there's the camping vignette, and now we're gonna go skinny dipping. Dudley jumps in naked. What are you doing? He's like, "What? You got your skivvies on?" They're like, "Yeah." Who knows what could be in here? And he's like, "Oh, come on, live a little." So they all get naked, and then another joke that goes on too long. Family shows up, and the joke here is that they're naked, and they don't want these people to know that they're naked. But it feels like it goes on forever. Like, it goes where you think it's gonna go, where they find out that they're naked and go, "How dare you? This is a family spot," or something like that. But it goes too far where the dad jumps in, and they're like, "You don't come over here." The kids get in. "You don't come over here. There's crawfish. I like crawfish." The dad's like, "I like crawfish. I'm gonna catch one." He goes in, and he grabs John Travolta's winky weenus. Yeah, I'm trying to. I think I've already kind of swore, but I didn't mean to. Winky weenus. And then he's like, "Kids, we gotta go. Honey, we gotta go. And then John C. McGinnis shows up butt naked and wants to join them. And so he gets in there. I do laugh because the way he goes, he's like, "Okay, we play a game," and I know what I'm playing. "Okay, back up. Marco." Just he says that. Marco. And so they sneak out while he's doing that, and then we don't see him again, oddly enough. It's weird. I like it, but then I don't like it as it feels like maybe there was supposed to be more with him, and it just, I don't know. That's the last we see of him, I guess. But they eventually get to a bar, which is run. It belongs to the Del Fuegos. The 3 big Del Fuegos are, I don't know if I know all their names, but Jack, played by the late Ray Liotta. And then you have MC Gainey, who I'm sure you don't know by name, but if you've seen him, you go, "Oh, it's that guy." And then Kevin Durant, another one. They were both on Lost. Kind of on opposite sides. They were both bad guys, but on opposite sides. But, yeah. So they go in there, and they're just like having a casual conversation, and then Dudley mentions that the guy has a nice bike, and so he's like, "Hey, you want to trade?" They're like, "No, I have a Sportster. I grew up on a Sportster. I wanted a Sportster." And so they go out, and so he makes a deal, and they go out and they take it to this hunk of junk. I'll say something else, but a hunk of junk that is the same make and model of the one that he was talking about, but it's not the one he was talking about, but I guess. And so they steal his bike, and they leave, and Dudley has to ride in a sidecar. Well, John Travolta's had enough and wants to go back and get the bike back, but they're like, no, let's just keep going. So they go towards the gas station to refill, and John Travolta gives Dudley his bike and then sneaks back to do it. I'm guessing that's how it goes, because he doesn't ride the bike back. He cuts the brake lines of all the bikes and then takes off with Dudley's bike. But the Del Fuegos see this and come out. Jack's smoking a cigarette, because this is before Ray Liotta quit. And then they go to get on the bikes, it doesn't work, and then the cigarette falls out of his mouth, lighting everything on fire, and then blowing up the bar, because that's what would really happen. And he sees this, and he tells them, he meets them at the gas station, he says, we gotta go. Them acting, and I'm sitting here, they act very nonchalant about the fact that he got Dudley's bike back. And all he tells them is that he threatened legal actions. So, yeah. So they drive to a little place called Madrid. Not Madrid, Madrid. A small little town. Is it in Mexico? Or New Mexico? think it's New Mexico. But they go there, and that's where we meet Marissa Tomei's character, Maggie, who is William H. Macy's love interest. And they get there, and it's like a little carnival thing they go to, and they start to have a little romance between them. But Kevin Durant and MC Gady end up going there. It's either the Hogs are there, and they call Jack and tell him, he goes, don't mess with them, don't do anything, till I get there, they're mine. But Ray Liotta. Kind of like the Good Feathers? The Good Feathers from Animaniacs. They were based off the Good Fellas. You know, one of them kind of talked like Robert De Niro, kind of like this, kind of like this. The other one, kind of like Joe Pesci, and then the other one was Ray Liotta, which comes off as Jack Nicholson for me, but you know what I mean. Oh, come on, Bobby, don't be like that. But so yeah, so they come up. So Bobby has the idea to come up to them and threaten them with illegal actions, like what he said he did, and then he throws the beer at MC Gaine's face, and they can't do anything about it. Jack told him no. Also, when Tim Allen is talking to his wife, she mentions it to Bobby's wife, which pisses her off. Yeah. And they get there pretty fast, because it's like the next day after the Fuegos show up that they drove down there pretty fast. It took the guys a few days to get there, but they're there the next day. That doesn't make sense. But anyway, the Del Fuegos show up, and earlier Jack mentioned that the bar was owned by a guy named Damien. Yeah. So they get there. We have a little standoff, and it's just the guys getting their butts kicked by the Del Fuegos, but they keep getting up to fight. This causes the town to... Okay, so what happens is they go to the sheriff. The sheriff is a wuss. A wuss. He's played by Stephen Tobolowsky. And then his deputies are played by those twins that you've seen everywhere. You know what I mean? You saw me, oh, those guys, yeah. The Sklar twins. Yeah. And they are too scared to do anything. Apparently, they learned all their lawmaking by playing, they were told to play Doom. I don't know how that works. I don't have a BFG, so... But anyway, big freaking gun. So they go. So Dudley goes out to defend his girlfriend's honor, and gets duct tape. So this doesn't make any sense. They got him, and they said, we're gonna break his. You know, come on, we're gonna break his legs. He goes, I don't need my legs. I'm a computer programmer, and they're like, well, then we'll break his hands. Give him the money. Give him the money. That's kind of funny. Also, I talked about this in the last review, but they did the thing. Dudley goes in and kicks the door. It shuts right away in his face. I didn't laugh as hard as I did in the last one, but it was still kind of funny. I did laugh a little bit. So they say they're gonna break his hands. Then they wrap him around and hang him from a rope with duct tape, where his hands are bound down. And I'm like, wait, how are they gonna break his hands if they're in the duct tape? That doesn't make any sense. So they come up with a plan. They're gonna ride in, and Doug is going to grab him and then go on. Well, that doesn't work. Here comes the Golden Knight, right? They ride in, he grabs him, but the duct tape doesn't rip, and they both fall. Even if the duct tape is ripped, they still would have just fell, because he jumps up off the bike, and the bike goes and falls to the side. They didn't do right to begin with. So even if the duct tape broke, they would still fall there. And I'm a little annoyed that the whole time during this fight thing, Dudley's just in the duct tape. It's supposed to be funny, but it comes up as more annoying. That someone should have cut him free. I mean, come on. But the townspeople, like I said, the townspeople, they see this act of bravery of keep standing up and not stepping down. The townspeople come to their defense and stand up to them because this town was terrorized by the Del Fuegos. So, Jack and the Del Fuegos plan to take on the whole town until Damien rides up. He's played by Peter Fonda because Easy Rider. Yeah, there's no reason other than Easy Rider. That's it. And just like he was the villain in Ghost Rider because Easy Rider. That's it. Rest in peace, good sir, by the way. Yeah, it's revealed that he's Jack's dad and that he had insurance taken out on the bar, so it's fine that they did it. So, yeah. And then it hits the fan. I caught myself. It hits the fan. Because the wives show up inexplicably a day after being called by them. It took them many days to get there. But, yeah, inexplicably. And this is where Bobby basically tells his wife to shut the heck up. Although, I think H-E double toothpicks doesn't really count as a swear word because it's in the Bible. But, you know what I mean. Doesn't shut up. Tells that he's got to do his own thing. And to stop talking at it. Yes, please. I know it's the character type that she plays, but it gets annoying after a while. And yeah, so they ride off, but Dudley doesn't stay behind. I thought Dudley stayed behind before, but no, he says we'll be back in about 6 days. So yeah, 6 days to come back from California. Took overnight for the wives. One thing I can think of is they took an overnight flight and then have a rental car, is what it was. Still fast though. Still fast. Still pretty fast to get there. And they go to California. And the running joke was that Dudley has always been running into things and getting knocked down. It looks like he's about to, but doesn't. And then the other three run right into a surfboard. Yeah. There's also a gag earlier where they're riding on the open road and a bunch of bugs come in them. No. A bunch of bugs splatter onto their face. There we go. And then John Travolta laughs and gets a bird in his face. Okay. I didn't really laugh at that, but this is fine. Pretty good. It's still a good movie for me. I don't know why. I just don't know why. I just don't know why. And that was for you, Grandma. That was for you. So let's go ahead, pick out the next movie we are doing tomorrow, because it is almost midnight, and I want to just relax the rest of the night. Status update. This is one I've seen clips of on Instagram. So I kind of wanted to see what that was about. So that's the next one. So what are your thoughts on Wild Hogs? Let me know how so much you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.